Breaking news in the escalating crisis with Iran. Tonight, U.S. officials confirming that Iran has fired more than a dozen ballistic missiles targeting the U.S. military. The missiles fired from inside Iran aimed at U.S. military facilities in Iraq. At least 2 sites, including the Assad Air Base, the airport, and a base in Erbil. Iran state TV airing this video tonight saying these are some of the Iranian missiles. Iranian TV calling this a revenge operation after President Trump ordered the deadly drone strike on Iran's top general. The missiles fired tonight, part of what Iran is now calling Operation Martyr Soleimani. We have learned one of the bases targeted, Assad Air Base in western Iraq and Anbar. President Trump and the First Lady visited a little more than a year ago in December of 2018. President Trump is being briefed at this hour, meeting with his national security team in the Situation Room. And it was just hours before in the White House, the president forcefully defended his order to carry out that deadly strike that killed General Qasem Soleimani.
A Ukraine International Airlines 737 bound for Kiev, reduced to smoke and wreckage. All those on board killed. Rescue crew and emergency personnel pick through what's left near Tehran's Imam Khomeini airport. Video released on social media shows a faint light flickering, then a fireball. The Boeing jet had taken off from Tehran early on Wednesday after being delayed for almost an hour.
After taking off from Imam Khomeini International Airport, it crashed between Parand and Shahryar. An investigation team from the National Aviation Department was dispatched to the location after the news was announced.
This flight tracker shows the plane was scheduled to head to Boryspil International Airport in the Ukrainian capital of Kiev.
Well, in other news now, Russian President Vladimir Putin is in Istanbul with Turkey's leader Recep Tayyip Erdogan. That's to open a major new gas pipeline. Well, the pipeline is known as Turk Stream, and it's 5 years in the making. It not only allows Russia to sell more gas to Europe, it also helps them to bypass Ukraine.
Claro que sí.
Carlos Ghosn's escape took months of planning, and the businessman decided to go ahead with it late December when he learned one of his trials would be delayed. Sunday, December 29th, surveillance cameras outside Ghosn's apartment in Tokyo show him walking out alone. He took a 3-hour train ride to Osaka's international airport. There, he embarked on a private jet from Turkish private jet operator MNG. But Ghosn wasn't on the passengers list. It's believed he traveled in this trunk, which was conveniently too big for the airport scanners. These holes were made so Carlos Ghosn could breathe. The plane did not fly directly to Beirut, which could have raised suspicions, but to Istanbul. Once it landed in Turkey, the trunk was transferred into a second MNG plane. On December 30th at 7:29 a.m., the businessman was back in his home country.
At least 24 people have been charged in New South Wales over deliberately lighting some of the fires that have devastated vast parts of Australia. At least 25 people have died and more than 2,000 homes have been destroyed since the bushfire season began. And as we have seen, this year's bushfire season has been one of the worst in Australia's history, in fact. And here's a look at how bad the blazes have been at last count. About 2,700 firefighters were battling the blazes across the country, and in New South Wales there are about 136 active fires. The University of Sydney estimates almost 500 million animals have died across New South Wales, including close to 1/3 of the koala population. In total, more than 14 million acres have burned across Australia's 6 states.
Millions of workers in India are on strike, protesting against the government's economic policies. They're blocking train tracks and shutting down banks as they rally against Prime Minister Narendra Modi's labour reforms. Among the most disaffected are farmers. Rural poverty has become a major issue, with suicide rates high among farmers struggling with debt.
Impassioned stories brought to song by this group of farmers as one by one they take to the microphone. This group of several hundred is being replicated across the state of Punjab on a national day of protest. It's not just farmers, but it's students and unions are calling for the country at large to come out on strike and protest against government economic policy and social issues.
Now to that state of emergency in Puerto Rico. Multiple earthquakes and aftershocks rocking the island, killing a man and knocking out electricity for millions.
That's right. Good morning, Michael. We felt tremors throughout the night and this morning. This is one of several homes in this neighborhood that was destroyed. Thankfully, no one was home at the time. The USGS warning, we can expect more seismic activity in the days to come.
This morning, a state of emergency in Puerto Rico, the island reeling after the latest quake. Aftershocks forcing television news anchors to evacuate the studio during a live broadcast.
Vamos. Vamos.
A 6.4 magnitude tremor leveling businesses and homes, damaging schools. This church completely destroyed. The powerful earthquake killing 73-year-old Nelson Martinez. His nephew finding him buried in the rubble. A wall had collapsed on his bed.
Dengue numbers have begun climbing again, with more than 300 infections reported in the first week of the year. This is the second straight week that cases have risen after 5 weeks of decline.
100 high-risk clusters have also been identified, and of which 14 have more than 10 reported dengue cases. They include areas in Pasir Ris, Seletar, Bukit Panjang and Kembangan.
Just last month, authorities closed over 95% of the dengue clusters discovered since the start of 2019. The Health Ministry advises people with symptoms to see a doctor for timely diagnosis and management. Residents living in the high-risk clusters are advised to check the NEA website for updates.